All right, we're live. Sorry about that. Hey guys, I didn't know I was live yet. All right, I'm just trying to make sure that this little sucker is set up in the right space. And for now, I will just back it up so you can see me in the maybe in the kitchen. I am in the big yurt, and as those of you who know, on Shambhala, we are an off-grid community, and my husband Craig and I live in a double yurt castle, two yurts, one for him, one for me, and this is the 30-foot yurt. I live in the 20-foot yurt. And today I am going to bring to you some herbalism joy. So I have a lot of things to strain, and I wanted to show you kind of what that looks like when I'm doing multiple things. First time I've gone live on herbalism on my page, probably ever. Maybe not. I think I've done probably, if I have done it on herbalism, I've done it on comfrey salve. Not my first live to YouTube, but definitely my first live in a long time. I did do a toxic series, toxic truths series back in January and February, because it was 2 months, led into January as February as well. And that was live sometime on here. Most of the time I went live here and Facebook at the same time. So that's the last time I think I've done a live is February. But this one's going to be a lot longer. So I got this idea from a friend to just sort of like show what it looks like on a, I don't want to push this thing off, regular basis here on the farm in the yurt castle, so to speak, that we have. There, I'm trying to get that bottle out of the way. There, now I think you can see my whole workstation. So, sweet. So, going live, just wanted to show you kind of what it looked like. The idea was to just give you a day in the life in an herbalist's kitchen. I've been an amateur herbalist for 30 years, probably, 28 years. Been dabbling in natural medicine. So that's a little bit about me. If you don't know me, this is Andy Kennedy Co., our station. All things sustainable and energy and mindset and raise your vibration. So I'm a high vibration coach living in a high vibration reality here in Eastern Tennessee. So what does that look like on a daily basis? That's what I was talking about today. So today's fun task, yesterday was building, today is herbalism. So sometimes it's a different task, a different category, but today I have plantain oil. So the plantain is from here, Shambhala. Plantain is good for a lot of things, primarily pulling out toxins. So great for bee stings and also healing the skin and the epidermis just in general, your exterior layers just in general. It's good internally as well, but this is the oil. So this is only going to go on top of our epidermis, right? So I'm going to use this in a salve. I'm going to use it in my jewel weed salve for rashes, so pulling out that toxin. And then I'm going to use it also, not the oil, but I'm going to use plantain soon here in a like a compress pack. So I take the dried plantain, dried calendula, and dried lavender, and we'd put it in a pack, or all of that in a jar. And then whenever you get a bee sting or something that has toxins that you need to draw out, you can just take that dried material, apply it right to your skin, mix it with some, actually before you apply it to your skin, mix it with baking soda and witch hazel or vinegar, and make a nice paste, apply it to your skin, and then wrap your skin with like a bandage or a bandana. So that is one or multiple ways that we use plantain. So we're going to strain this one. We're going to strain the comfrey oil. Comfrey's been a long time buddy of mine. This is our friend's comfrey, and we are growing it. So the next dried session that I do, once we kind of dry out, we just had a crazy storm here in the east, which you probably heard about, Helene, the terror, and all of our plants are wet. So when the comfrey all dries, we are going to harvest some of that and make oil. So I'm about to strain this. I always have some steeping. I dry the comfrey leaves, I put it in oil, I let it sit for a couple of months. This one's been going since June 24th, and it's the first week of October. So all of July, all of August, and then all of September. So 3 months really that this has steeped. For me, I like the longer the better, but most people say after a couple of months it's going to be the same. So then after that, for me, it's just a matter of when I can get to it, right? So at least a couple of months for all of these things. 1 moon cycle for tinctures, some people say, but I always go 2 because I think there's more magic in 2. It's like I'm creating with source energy when I do for 2 months. 1 month for me, 1 month for source. So that we're going to strain, and I'll show you that as well. And then the tinctures that I have. Oh wait, one more oil. I also have St. John's wort oil. All of these are quite dark. You're not going to be able to see them too great in this video, but we've got the little leaflets, flowerlets of St. John's wort and Hypericum perforatum. And it is in, all of these are in olive oil, and I just used a folk method for that. So when I make it, I just pack the jar full, then I fill it with olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and then I let it sit. So this one's been going since 8/1. That one will be strained. That one will have 2 months at least in it. Then the rest are tinctures. So we've got 2 brandies, I think, and a vodka. I'm not actually sure if this one's brandy, so I'll have to smell it, but once I smell it, I'll be able to tell. 2 goldenrods, 1 in brandy from 8.5 and 1 in vodka from 8.5, and we're just going to strain those right into these bottles for simple tinctures that I would then combine with other things. So I have a goldenrod from last year. It's about half empty. And it's great to know that I was able to make this one last until we're ready to harvest some more. I was a little cautious with it because I didn't want to run out. But it's anti-inflammatory, antifungal, antiseptic, antispasmodic, expectorant, relaxant, and stimulant. I never can remember all of those things. And like I said, I've been an amateur herbalist since 1995. Whatever that is, 30 years almost now. But this year I'm getting my certification. So this year I'm like making more, exploring more, learning more, knowing the names, but I still don't know if I'll ever be able to remember all of the things for every plant until I start using it and sharing it with our community and using it in different ways than I already use it, right? Because I remember the ways that I need it, but I don't necessarily know the ways you need this. So this is really good for colds, allergies, flus, also the kidney, inflammation, asthma, hemorrhoids, spasms, diabetes, and digestion. I'm sure there's more, but those are the cliff notes. So that's goldenrod. It's a beautiful, beautiful yellow plant that flowers this time of year, early fall, late summer through fall. So we had it growing. This one, I can tell you, was harvested on 10/23 last year, and I put it in grain alcohol. I don't think I wrote down how long I steeped it, but I bet I steeped it for at least 2 months because I think I remember it sitting down in the barn, maybe even through most of winter, or some of winter, I should say, because then I know I shared it with peeps in February when one of the families down the street they were all really sick. And I gave them a bottle of it. And so then what I would do for that is just put it in a smaller bottle. I'm sure you guys have seen these. For those of you who do your own herbs or buy a lot of herbs at the health food store, that's kind of what you buy. You won't typically see something this big. That would be very expensive. But this cost me how much, right? Like, I think this is another reason I'm doing this, is not just to save money and to know that I'm doing my own herbs and all of that, but really it just seems silly sometimes to me to pay so much money for something when I know I can make it for almost free. I mean, all the cost of that is my time and then the cost of the grain alcohol or vodka. So I've got grain. This is the other piece. Is like I kind of like to have the herbs that I share the most. Not every herb, but goldenrod, being that it blankets this whole area, I know that means that a lot of us probably need it. Same with plantain. Blankets the whole area. I know that means a lot of us need this plant, right? So I like to have it in 3 different menstruums. Menstruum is the medium that it's actually tinctured in. So this is the vodka, and you can see it's a little bit clearer than that grain alcohol was, and a little bit clearer than the oil, of course, and then the brandy. Brandy's got a little bit of a beigeish color to it, where as you can tell, well, not in this light, but the vodka is definitely clearer. Okay, so that is what we are straining today. And because all of that is going to take me some time, I thought I would also go ahead and get some comfrey salve going. So this is my bin for the comfrey salve making that I've been doing for about, maybe I think, I'd say probably 15 years. I learned how to make a comfrey salve probably in 1995, actually, on the farm. But I didn't make it commercially until recently. So I don't really sell it too commercially, but I sell it to friends and family and anybody that has a lot of boo-boos or uses this. So the first thing we get out for this, and I'm just going to do one batch, but I am, or sorry, no, you know what, I'm going to do 2 batches, but I'm only going to do the 1 ounce of wax. So I have 2 bags here, 1.5 and 1 ounce. So I have bags of the wax. So this is just beeswax that a friend gave us from Colorado. So amazing. I also have some beeswax actually that a local in Knoxville gave me at the Sustainable Futures Center. So kudos to you, David, for giving me that. And to our buddy Justin that does J&J's Honey. He gave me the other one, and that's in Steamboat. So shout out to Steamboat. I've got labels that I put on them, and then I have 3 different sizes of jars. The 3 ounce, the 2 ounce, and you can't see it that far away anyway. And then a 1 ounce, actually 4 different sizes now that I have the 2 ounce, and a half an ounce. I am actually just making the big ones today because I made a big batch, probably 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago. So we're going to start with that. So that means we need to fill these, and I live in a yurt. We live off grid. So this is our hot plate. We get it out when we need it, and most of the time we don't use it. Our batteries, it was a nice sunny day, so our batteries are full. And I'm basically just double boiling. So I've just put about a half an inch of water in each of these 2 pots. And then I have these 2 little double boilers where I'm going to put the oil in. Oops. Too much, but we can serve. We don't throw our good drinking water down the drain around here. So that's just going to go in my filtered water. All right, so get the other one out. And I don't use these double boilers or these spoons for anything else. You really want to keep your herbalism supply clear and just using for the herbs and the medicine and not the food, because the food's got particles in it and bacteria in it. I don't need these lids, so let's get them out of the way. So we have some limited real estate here. Okay, so we have to strain the comfrey oil first. Do we? I might have some down in the barn, but I don't think I have any in here. No. Okay, so we're just going to do, and I do have the same, I have glass, it's going to have to be this one, I think, actually. Oh, no, that's what we'll do. We'll use the jar. That's plastic. I don't want to use that. So let's get a mason jar that has that has the measurements on it where I can see a cup. And we're going to pour off 2 cups while this, which is plugged in. There we go. There we go. That bottom one might not be working. All right. So now that water is heating, I can't get that one open. I have this little trick that I learned from my mama. It's pretty cool. This thing, just slide it on and twist if you can hold it. Hey, if you can hold the jar. This is a 1/2 gallon jar of comfrey oil, and it is being my hands are not something that like to do this motion. This isn't a motion my hands like. There we go. Nope. I thought we were on that one. Oh my god. There we go. All right. Yes, I know. Put that back in there. And it just smells so awesome. All right. We are going to make sure we put some paper towels down to protect our workspace. Which, like I said, the real estate on is less than usual. My gosh, last winter I did this in the hotel room when I went into town because we didn't have reliable power yet, and we didn't have I don't think we had this counter set up, but I didn't have a great way, I think, to heat up water. So, hello, strainer. This is funny. This strainer's probably too big for this game, but it'll work. All right, we just want to fill this jar for now. Well, not fill. There we go. And let's put the strainer in there. And let's make sure we have it right. Oh, that's a cup and a half. So it's a cup of, let's pour some of that back in there. There we go. And we're going to do a half a cup in, our cup in one and a cup in the other. So we'll get it to a cup here. And then we'll pour that in the other one. And that is, of course, 8 ounces. That is going to be matched with, so that's our comfrey oil. Again, this has been strained in comfrey. And then just need one more, half a cup. And then eventually I'll squeeze this all out. So I have an apple press that I will put this comfrey in oil. Now it's mostly comfrey versus mostly oil. There we go. Oops, that was a half a cup. 6. So I'll put this in that apple press and press the leaves out of it. But for now, it's going to be in my way. All right, we'll leave that there because we're going to strain another one. I should have put my gloves on, but let me get one of these towels. There we go. All right, so 1 ounce of oil to 1 ounce of wax. Beeswax from a local apiary if you can. Much better than buying it from somewhere else because then it's going to have the properties, just like when you eat local honey, it's going to have the properties that you need to help your immune system in this local climate. So this is Knoxville honey. I was using steamboat honey, but I am pretty sure we're out of that. This is Knoxville honey, or beeswax, I should say, from Knoxville bees. Okay, so while, like I said, this is why I'm multitasking, because the oil takes a while to heat up. It's in a double boiler. It's really the water that we're boiling underneath there, not the oil. And then there's wax in there, and so that wax is going to melt. Then we're going to take those off. We're going to add in the vitamin E oil, the rosemary, the lavender. These are essential oils: rosemary, lavender, and lemongrass. And all of those are healing. And this comfrey salve is for all boo-boos. And I am going to add to it this time. I always also put some calendula oil in there, and like I said, some vitamin E. But this time I think I'm going to put a little bit of the plantain in there. That plantain oil, like I said, is just going to continue to draw out those toxins. So if I'm using it for a mosquito bite or a bee sting or a rash, then it's going to work even better with the plantain in there. And the plantain is going to help also regenerate some cells because it's good like that. So that's our comfrey salve getting into the mix and melting. And then we're going to strain. First one I'm going to strain here is the St. John's wort oil. So all we need to do is take the plant matter out of that. And I think actually I'm going to use the jar that I already had some oil in it. That just makes sense because we're not going to use that one again. And oh yeah, wow, you guys, this is St. John's wort oil, and it smells completely different. This one, this comfrey oil, comfrey is very earthy. It's yeah, it's just dense. It smells like dense matter, whereas this one, wow, it even just tastes different. Yeah, perfect. So excited. Okay, so this one actually, where's my rag? I'm going to glove up for this one because I am going to squeeze. I want to completely squeeze this jar out. I don't have my apple press, but the St. John's wort flowers and leaves are so delicate that this is going to be a lot easier for me to strain than the comfrey. This comfrey is like really thick and sharp and itchy and scratchy, and I like to put that one in the press. But this one, and I might even actually put this in the bowl because I could make a mess faster than you can say it. All right. So let's start with just the oil. Wow, it's red. All right, this is the first time I've made St. John's wort oil, and I'm so excited. It is really, really, really red. I'm going to actually pick it up and show that to you. So the other one you saw was kind of greenish, like a deep, it still even looks a little bit like olive oil. This one, oh, I wish you could see it better. There we go. It's like copper. It's red. And the St. John's wort flowers are yellow. I knew it was going to turn red. The tinctures kind of turn a little red as well. All right, strainer. And I'm just going to, if I had cheesecloth, I would do that. But I don't. This isn't even straining, actually. So yeah, I might have to go ahead and put that in the apple press. There's a little bit of oil left in there, so I think that just ran down the side of the jar. All right, here we go. That's actually working. Let's do that. So I also have my compost bucket down here. So if you see me dump anything on the floor, that's what I'm going to be doing right now, for instance. And then we'll take a little bit more out, and I'll just press it into, yeah, that one doesn't have anything left in it. Now, challenging as it is living off-grid, it's even more challenging when you're off-grid to actually clean things that have oil in it. So that's going to be interesting, but that's another reason why I'm wearing gloves. So not that the zero waste piece for me feels good, because it doesn't. We're going to drop that down a little bit. We got some boiling going on over here. It's about to boil over, I think. Yep. I turned it down. Well, let's see if it's going to make it. All right. And this St. John's wort oil is also good enough to put, for sure, not good enough, but great to put in your salve. So it also is going to be very healing anti-inflammatory, and just really, really supportive cellularly for regrowth and regeneration and all of that good stuff. So this is St. John's wort oil. And I can put that in now while it's boiling, and I'll probably just put in a tablespoon, or I can put it in after the fact, but I'm gonna put it in now. And so this is my Comfrey Salve Plus, so a tablespoon of that in there. Mix that up a little bit. And then when I pull that off, this comfrey salve that I'm making, we let that cool a little bit. And I'm going to pause, if I can pause. I don't know if I can pause this. Nope. So I just need to run and go get the supplies, which are, like I said, the essential oils, the vitamin E oil, and the calendula oil. And I'll be right back. Okay, so these are close to ready, so I'm going to go ahead and find myself a cap for that St. John's wort, which, here we go, and I'm going to label it. So I took off the label. I could have used that label, I guess. (8-1) to 10-3. And new moon, by the way. I love to put the oil to start the process in a new moon and then finish the process in a new moon as well. All right, so, oh yeah, that is still quite greasy. Put that down there for now. All right, so we strained one. We strained the comfrey a little bit as well. We're close here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just, we're actually too also just mostly filling our home one. So that's Craig's, that's mine, but I'm also going to fill these are the 3, these are the 2, yeah. Fill however many 3 ounce, because I didn't make any of this big size the last time I made a batch. Well, I did. I made 3 and they sold immediately. So my website, if you need it and you want to buy any of this, is Andy Kennedy Co. Currently in .com. Currently, and Co is C-O, Andy, A-N-D-Y, Kennedy Co. I don't, I'm going to let this cool, actually. I said that and then I forgot these guys are plastic, not glass, unfortunately. The next batch I buy needs to be glass. So we're just going to turn those off, let them cool a little bit, and this is when, and actually I think I'll take them off the, this is when I like to add, or I do add, not like to, I add the extras that I have over there. We live off grid, as I mentioned. that's my trail. So